Ed Yoda, the end of your job search and the beginning of your dream career. EdYoda's live sessions are taught by industry experts, giving you hands-on experience and practical knowledge with real projects, not just degrees. EdYoda's industry-recognized certifications will help you stand out in the job market. And that's not all. With EdYoda's exclusive job board featuring 500+ companies, finding your dream job has never been easier. Say goodbye to endless job searching and hello to your dream career with EdYoda. Join EdYoda's student community today and start building your dream career.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jishnav, and you are here to join me for Google Sheets productivity hacks in 1 hour. And we're going to have a lot of fun in this next 1 hour. So if you're with me, then welcome to this small workshop where you're going to learn a lot of new things and you're going to build some tiny bit of skills which you will take with yourself throughout your professional career. All right. So without further ado, if you are all set with your bottle of waters and your laptop and your open mind, then we can get started. I will share my screen, and without wasting even a single setting, without wasting even a single minute, we are going to start. Let's talk about today's plan. What are we going to learn? Very simple. We are going to talk about basic data operations, some simple operations, simple formulas, data formatting, and most importantly, we are going to solve a live problem. And we are going to get lookups as well. Before I start, who am I? My name is Jishnav, and I work with the EdYoda team, and been working with EdYoda for about almost 2 years now. What are we here for? We are here for one simple reason. I am here to tell you about Google Sheets productivity, introducing you to Google Sheets, how it can be really useful in a professional setting, and what you can learn from this. What do we need for this workshop? Very simple. You need a laptop and a computer, or a computer, I should say. And if you've joined this workshop, I am pretty confident that you do have a working laptop or a computer. You need an internet connection. No questions there. If you joined me here, then you already have an internet connection. Get some water to drink because it's going to be 60 minutes and some of them are going to be sweaty. So I have my bottle of water with me. You should get yours. And just keep an open mind. If you do not know Google Sheets, that's fine. If you do not know what Google Sheets is useful for, that's also fine. But what is not fine is keeping a very narrow mind, keeping a very close mind. Now, what are we going to do here is let's get familiar with the workspace. Now, how to access Google Sheets? I think all of us have a Google account or a Gmail account, right? Google Sheets is free, by the way. You do not need to pay for it, unlike other competitors. And I think it's fair to assume the most or the biggest competitor is Excel. Excel is paid. For Google Sheets, you do not need to pay anything. All you need is a Google account, working Google account, and you're all good to go. So without further ado, let's get to the Google Sheets workspace and get familiar with it. All right. So how to access Google Sheets? There are two ways. You can either open a new tab, go to your address bar, and type in sheets.google.com. And if you hit enter, you will go to Google Sheets. And that's fine. But we are here for hacks. We are not here for the usual ways. What are we going to do? It's very simple. Just type in sheets.new. And lo and behold, you have a new spreadsheet which you can just instantly start on. How amazing is that? But the hacks don't end here. Once you are here, you will be bombarded with a lot of buttons, tabs, cells, rows, colors, percentages, formulas. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to necessarily think about it, what all of that is. That is why I'm here. That is why you are here. So I have prepared a small sheet for you guys, and that will give you a lot of knowledge about basic knowledge about what Google Sheets is all about. So we'll get to my sheet. Now, any spreadsheet, any spreadsheet that you have right now in Excel or in Google Sheets is in the form of a table. A table has rows, which are nothing but horizontal spaces where you add values. It's nothing complicated about it. So as you can see, I have added row on row one, and rows are nothing but horizontal areas where you add data. Similarly, there are columns. Columns is 90 degrees opposite to rows. It is vertical, and it goes from top to bottom. Rows and columns both have a very distinctive address to them. That is, rows are always shown as numbers, whereas columns are always shown as alphabets, English alphabets. So as you can see, first row is marked as 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then so on and so forth. It doesn't end. That's the beauty of it. Similarly, columns are also marked as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so forth. English alphabet ends at 26 letters, but Google Sheets doesn't care. So 27th becomes AA, double A. So now you know there's no end to it. The basic entity where you put in data, and if you are here, and if we are learning about Google Sheets, if we are learning about Excel, it is all about data. It is all about numbers, values, text, dates, all of that. Where do you put in data? You put data in a cell. As you can see on my screen right now, I am locating myself a cell. Now, what is a cell? Cell is nothing but an intersection of row and a column. Very simple. Cells have an address. This address is nothing but a row, the address of that particular column and the address of that particular row. So we are at this cell right now, which is highlighted on my screen. And you can see, let's check the address first. Okay. The column is C and the row is 6. That means the address should be C6. Where do you check the address? Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I just bluffing? Google Sheets tell me the address of every cell. So if you see where my mouse is hovering right now, it says C6. And this C6 is the address. Let's say I want to get to D16. I type it and see. The selector moved to D, column D, and row 16. So now you know the addresses and you know cell locations. And if you're wondering how did I put my data into any of these cells, it's just select any cell and type in whatever you want to. I'll type in whatever. So it's as easy as that. Now, Excel is great at handling data, but what type of data are we talking about? There are multiple data types, but what you will see in your day-to-day life, the biggest data that you'll add is numbers. And just like Word or Docs, you can highlight anything. So I filled this cell with some color by using this button in my toolbar called Fill Color. So numbers are the biggest data type that we are going to use most of the times. And how do you add numbers? There is a number row on your keyboard. Just add in whatever number you want. I like 1, 2, 3. So I added 1, 2, 3. Some of you might like 4, 2, 0. You add 4, 2, 0. Doesn't matter. Then there is text. You're going to deal with a lot of text. So you can add ABC or XYZ. Doesn't matter. It can be text in English or any language that you feel like. Next best part comes date. Your program, your sheets, they recognize dates very smartly. Let me try to add in a date. Something happened. And if I click here, and if I double click here, I'm able to select the date. See, it's taking January 2nd, 2023. And by default, your sheet will always select date in the format of month, day, and year, MDY. So be very careful about it. You can also add in currency. Let's say I had 2000 here. Right now, what it is just a number. I want to convert it into currency. Now comes one of a very handy toolbar that you're going to use a lot of time. That is called format. Format is available on the top left corner here on these buttons. It says File, Edit, View, Insert, Format. Let's click on Format. And let's click on Number. And you can see all these different types of numbers that Google Sheets can handle. So let me add currency here. And as you can see, it added a dollar sign to it. But it's not just that. It did not just add a dollar sign to whatever value I was putting in. It made it a currency. And there is one important feature in Google Sheets is the actual true value that is stored in the cell is available here in this bar, which is called the value bar or the formula bar, as people like to call it. You can see the true value. Here, you see it's written as, if I select the cell address of I9, as you can see I9 over here, and if I see what value do I have in here is 2000. But what does it appear like? It appears like a dollar sign 2000.00. That means what it looks like to me is currency, but it actually is just a number. That is one of the format that Google Sheets has given me. The other type that we're going to use quite frequently is Boolean. That is 0 or 1 or true or false. Google Sheets recognizes this. So if I type in TRUE true, you see it just got every letter, it became capitalized. It went uppercase. Whereas I typed it in lowercase. True. And so it recognizes that it's a Boolean and it made it a Boolean. Similarly with false, I am typing it as lowercase, it went uppercase. That means that your sheets, your program, your Google Sheets is very smart. And you can capitalize on this smartness and improve your day-to-day professional life. Now let's come to how. We have established what Google Sheets looks like. We have established what rows are, what rows are and what columns are. What is a cell? How do you identify a cell location? And also how do you type in different types of data? Now, there is one more feature of Google Sheets is that you can have multiple spreadsheets within one worksheet. So this entire space is called a worksheet. And if I want to see a specific spreadsheet in this, I can go to the bottommost bar, and I can see here there are 3 tabs. First tab is Get Familiar, which we just did. Next tab is Basic Data Operations. So if I click on it, I go to the next spreadsheet. Now this is where we're going to spend the next 20 or so minutes, and we're going to look at some operations. Now, when you're dealing with numbers, you need to calculate. Let's say I'm a college student and I have 5 subjects, and I want to check what is my total score in those 5 subjects. That means what I'll do is I'll add all those scores up. So Excel, you don't need a calculator or your phone for that. Excel or Google Sheets gives you really smart functions for that. But let's try how we did it on a calculator. So Any calculation starts with an equal to sign. By the way, Excel is going to give you smart recommendations, but for now, we're going to disable them. We're going to not look at smart recommendations. So every formula, every calculation starts with an equal to sign. Let's say if I just write 2000 plus 1000, it'll just show me text 2000 plus 1000, and it's not useful to me. But the moment I put an equal to sign here, magic happens. And that magic is that now you can create a formula, you can create a calculation. And now if I hit enter, the value that I see in the cell is 3000, which is the actual sum of 2000 and 1000. How do I know what value is behind this number? What formula is behind this number? Go back to your formula bar. And this formula bar is going to tell you what is actually happening in this cell that you're getting a value of 3000 out of it. Now, let's look at this table. A collection of rows and columns is called a table, in case you did not know. So these rows and columns tell us there are three salespeople, Rick, Morty, and Jerry. And shout out to Rick and Morty. If you have seen it, it's an amazing TV show. Do watch it. And if you have not, there's just three people. So there is a month, let's say the month which just ended March, and it had 4 weeks. Rick made 2000 sales in week 1. In week 2, he made 3280 sales. And in week 3, he made 4200 sales. And in week 4, he made 5400. Now, Rick's manager wants to check how much total sales did Rick make. First option that the Rick's manager has. Now, I want all of your attention on the screen right now. The first option that Rick's manager is to be dumb, is to use whatever knowledge they had while working on pen and paper, and in math class, they're going to use that. And for the sake of dumbness, I'm going to try this. So week 1, he had 2000. Week 2, he had 3280. Week 3, he had 4200. Week 4, he had 5400. And it'll give me the answer, 14,880. But come on, it's just stupid, right? It just doesn't make sense. We are here for productivity hacks, not to work like slaves. So there's a better way. You just put an equal to sign, and you can first select all the cells that you want to add up. Now we are moved from numbers to cells, and these cells, let's select those. So I've selected the first cell. Right now you'll see my address bar shows C3. And what is that C3? C at the intersection of column C and row 3 is 2000 value. So it's taken that value. Now I'm going to add a plus sign, and I'm going to add D3, which is week 2 sales. Now I'm going to add E3, which is week 3 sales. And finally, I'm going to add week 4, which is week 4 sales. So, and if I hit enter, I'll get the same answer, 14,880. But come on, guys, you are here for hacks. You're not at all here for working the old ways. Excel has built-in functions, built-in mathematical functions, which will help you get your work done faster and better. First of that function is sum. So how to invoke functions, how to start functions is you hit equal to, and then you call that function sum, sum. Now, what this function needs is data. What to sum? We know what to sum, right? Week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. So I'll add value to this function when you want to add any value to the function, you just open brackets. I opened a bracket, and let's just ignore smart prompts that are coming to me right now. I opened brackets, and now I'm going to select multiple cells. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking left button on my mouse and dragging it. Do you see what happened? It selected all cells from C3 to F3. And when I want to close the function, and these are all the cells that I need, right? I will close the function and I will hit enter. I'll get the of all the uh, sum of all the sales made by Rick in just 1 week. And it was so easy. I mean, instead of manually typing in 2000, 3280, 4200, 5400, now it's just writing one function, selecting values, and hitting enter. You've saved 30 seconds. Compound these 30 seconds to your 8-hour work, and you will save so much time. Similarly, Excel also has other different functions: maximum, minimum, average. Let's say I'm Rick's manager and I want to see in which week, what was the maximum sale that was made by Rick in all these 4 weeks. So the function for this is max, max. So we'll invoke the function by hitting equal to. We'll go max, open brackets, and select the values. Now you can see maximum sale made by Rick was 5,400. Now, if you were Rick's manager and if you were doing it manually, you'll have to keep account. Okay, what is the maximum number now? What was the maximum number before? How do I calculate it? All that headache is gone. Similarly, for min, you select equal to min. Now, what I'm doing is by default, Google Sheets wants you to write functions in uppercase. That is, all letters should be capital. But who has time for that, right? So just write the function min, and it will give you a list of different functions that are available with this search. So it's sort of searching within the functions. I want min, minimum value in a numeric data set. When I see that, hey, this is the right function for me, I will hit tab. The moment I hit tab, that means I've selected that function. Now it has converted all my letters to uppercase. That means we are good to go. And so the same drill happens again. We select all the cells that we want. We close the brackets and hit enter. And similarly, there's another function called average. I wrote average, and then I'm going to hit tab, and oh, it just averaged the wrong thing. See, sometimes smart features can be dumb. This is what I've observed. So it averaged out all the numbers which came before. Now I just want to average these 4 numbers. So if I hit enter, it will give me average as 3720. That means in the month of March, Rick averaged 3,720 sales. Pretty handy information, right? Now, let's say I want to do all of this activity for Morty and Jerry. Either I can do all of this activity again. I can do sum, and then I can hit tab and then select all the previous values that I want to sum. I mean, that's fine, but it takes a lot of time, and we don't have a lot of time in our working days. We want to get done with data as soon as possible. So how do we do this? Excel and Google Sheets by default let you smartly copy formulas over. What do I mean by smartly? What was this formula? Let's quickly go and check in the formula bar. It says equal to C3, D3, E3, and F3. If I want to do the same activity for Morty, if I want to add all week 4 weeks worth of sales numbers for Morty, what I will do is I will add C4, which is 1200, then I'll add D4, then E4, and F4. I can do that, or I can simply drag this down. You just saw what happened. Magic happened. So if I dragged it down, all of my values just changed from C4 to D4. And that is the beautiful part about copying formulas from one cell to the other. The addresses of the values that you put inside that formula change corresponding to the value where you paste your formula at. I said a lot of things. If you understood, great. If you did not understand, it's as simple as just dragging the formula down. Now, it works with all formulas, by the way. And it works with multiple formulas at the same time also. I mean, it just can't get better than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select H3, I3, J3, and K3, where my sum, max, min, and average data is there. And I'm going to drag all of them down. Once I do that, it's telling me sum of all sales by Modi. It's telling me max of all sales by Jerry. It's telling me average of Modi and Jerry. It's doing a lot of stuff. I mean, these are the kind of productivity hacks that we need at our workplace. Okay, one hack down. Let's do another one, and let's repeat one exercise also. Let's say I'm Rick, Modi, and Jerry's manager, and I want to see what is the total sale that I did in week one. How can I see that? This data is available right in front of us, but let's use functions for this. I'll hit sum, and now instead of selecting all Rick sales, I can select all week one sales. And when I hit sum and I open my brackets, let me select this. It's telling me that we made 8,200 sales in week one. And if I drag it over to all 4 weeks, it is telling me that I made these many sales in each week. Now, if I want to get how many sales I made in a month, just put another formula equal to sum of all the sales that were made in the week. And voila, you're done. You now know that in the month of March, your entire sales team across 4 weeks made a sale of 37,880. Isn't that cool? Isn't that nifty? You don't have to go back to your books and do bookkeeping. You don't need that. No, it gives you a very quick, fast, and reliable way to see your data, and that is what we are here for. I hope you're catching what I'm teaching right now, and let's quickly take a 1-minute short water break, and I'm going to take it too. Since now we have established what sum, max, min, and average functions are, formulas, functions, whatever you want to call it. I call them interchangeably, formulas, functions, whatever, but it's up to you. All that you need to know is what is getting my work done. And this is. Let's scroll down. Now, there is another table. There are different people. Michael, Jim, Pam. There are 3 people. And in case you don't know where these people are from, these are from The Office, the TV series. So if you've not seen Office, shout out to Office. Just go and watch it. It's pretty cool. There are 3 people, and every day they log their steps. Some of the days they miss, some of the days they walk less, some of the days they walk more. That's completely fine. Now I want to see how many days they walked, just days. So if I know this table, person and steps, if an entry is made that Jim walked 5 steps, that means on that particular day, he walked 5 steps. So I want to see how many days people walked. Or let's look at this question a different way. I want to see how many entries are in my table. That is how active my team is. So I'll select count, and let's count the total number of entries that were being made. So I'll select this cell and write a new function, which is written in the next cell itself, which is E14. And I'm going to write count. What it does is, if I select all these values and hit enter, it will show me 11. That 11 times entries were made in this data set. That means there are total 11 different entries. There are total 11 different times people walked. Now, we counted from column C, which showed us the total number of steps. Let's say I want to count from the person column. I'll invoke the function again. I'll write count and I'll select all of my data set. And something different happens. I mean, it's showing 0. It should not be 0, whereas there are 11 values. We already established this. Now, what is happening? Count function only counts numeric values. That is, it only counts numbers. What if I want to count text or dates or booleans? How? So we use a different function called count a. So we're going to use it, count a, and we're going to open brackets and we're going to select my row, my column B. And if I close bracket and hit enter, it gives me 11. Now, what's the best part about count function is that it also works on numeric data. Count a function it also works on numeric values as well. We can take a quick example of that. Count a, and let me select this. Or what I meant by this was column C. And if I hit enter, it gives me 11 and 11. Let's talk about the next problem. Let's say there is a table which is this big, and I want to check how many people actually worked. So I know that there are Michael, Jim, and Pam because I made this data set. Let's say this data set is of 10,000 values, and I do not know how many people are there. I just can't go in and check each and every value manually. It's too much work. And the best part about Excel or Google Sheets is that it lets you be lazy. And if you want to be lazy, there are so many ways to do it. We have a function called unique. If I hit, let's see what it does. If I hit equal to, and if I write unique and open my brackets, and let me select this, let's see what happens. It just gave me all the unique values that are there in that table, in that column. That is, there are only, now I can confidently say that, okay, there were only 3 people. Isn't that amazing? I don't have to go in and sort through the data. Okay, who is this? Who is this? Who is this? No, I don't want to get that. Now let's check. Now the next problem statement that comes to me is COUNTIF. Now what is COUNTIF? Let's say I just want to calculate how many steps did Michael take. Just Michael. So what will I do is if I'm working manually, then I'll go here in this table, select Michael and select, okay, 10 steps. Fine, my count is 10. Next is Michael, 22. Now it's 10 plus 22. It's my math is bad, 32. And then if I go here, Michael, 12. Now it's 32 plus 12. My math is so bad that I can't even calculate. So is there a better way to do it? Yes, there is a function for this. Go to the cell and select equal to and select count if. Now, how does this function work? Until now, we've been putting only cells or arrays, or I mean, collection of cells in our function. Now we can give it conditions as well. So let's try to do it. So if you see this question mark over here, now Google Sheets is smart and it knows that not everyone knows all the functions and what to put inside those functions. I'm just going to hit on this question mark. Now it's telling me the legend. It's telling me what to fill in. So it's asking for a range. Okay, let's give it a range. All right, this is going to count from this range. And let's give it a criteria. Criteria is that it should be Michael. Okay. So double quotes, this is what I want to check. Oops. It didn't check. That's interesting. All right. Let's do it again. COUNTIF, select the range, and let me select this and then put criteria here. Yeah, now it's better. See, I made a mistake. What mistake did I make? I had to select the entire range. And if I don't select the entire range containing both of those columns, it will not count. So right now, my problem statement was that I want to check how many steps did Michael take. Is it 3? I don't think so. Why? Because I did not check, I did not total how many steps did Michael take. I just checked how many times Michael walked. So I solved the problem, but I solved the wrong problem. So let's solve it for the other folks as well. What happens if I drag this cell down? It will show me that Jim walked twice and Pam also walked twice. Let's go and check back our data. Our data says Jim walked 3 times. Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4. He walked 4 times. And Pam also walked 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. But why is my data showing half and half? It should not be that way, right? So let's dig into the formula. First of all, it is checking only for Michael. Now, which is wrong. But why is it giving me 2? It should give me 3, right? There is another big problem. The data that is selected is, the range that is selected is wrong. I told you just 20 minutes back that if you copy the cell, the corresponding selection also moves. So it just moved 1 step down. What if I want to lock this selection? There's a very simple way of doing this. You just go to your range selection and hit F4. F4 on your keyboard. Let me just hit F4. What happens now is that there are dollar signs that appeared in front of my column within my range selection. This locks the range. And if I drag it down now, it will give me 333, which again solves one part of the problem, not the whole problem. All the range that was selected, that was for Michael. If I want for Jim, then I should select Jim. If I select Jim, now I'm getting 4. Now we are on the right track. Now if I select Pam, we'll get Pam. And it's 4 times she walked. But it's too tedious. I don't want to do it this way. Is there a better way? And that was the rhetorical question. The answer is yes. There's always a better way. Instead of typing it manually, which person I want this data for, I want this calculation for, let me just delete this and select where my data is actually. Select what I want to check for this calculation. And I wanted to check Michael. So I put Michael's name in just one cell. And that cell's location is F16. And I selected F16 here. And now if I hit enter, it will give me the same answer. But now if I drag it over, it gives me answer for Jim, which it has selected automatically just by dragging it, and Pam, which it has also selected automatically, but just by dragging over it. Now, let's go to our original problem statement. That how many steps have they walked? Okay, so let's quickly select, let's quickly get the unique people in this table. So what I'll do is I'll hit equal to unique, and I'll select the range. Oh, I'll select this range, yeah. And I get the list of people, Michael, Jim, and Pam. Now I want to check the total number of steps taken by each of those. So I'll hit equal to. Now instead of COUNTIF, I'll select SUMIF. I'm putting a range on sum. And now I'll select a range. This is the range that I want. And I will, from my previous experience, I know that if I don't log the data, it messes up my calculation. So I'm going to lock it. And then I'll go to criteria. The criteria is that it should be Michael. only for Michael. And then what do I want to sum? This is the range that I want to sum. That is column C. So I'll also lock it because I don't want this range to change. And I'll close my brackets. See, the answer is pretty simple. 44 steps Michael took. Pretty healthy, I guess. Oh, until we look at Jim, who had 92 steps. Oh, and Pam is also on the same trend as Michael. So who is the fittest of them all is Jim. And if you watch the show, that's actually true. So now you know how to count numeric values, count any other values, including numeric, which is using by count A. Now you know how to get unique values from a table. You know how to count if, count with a condition, and you also know how to sum with a condition. By learning all of this, let's get to a real world application, which is there in the third tab of my spreadsheet. That is called problem solving. Let's familiarize ourselves with the data set that we have here. The data set is pretty simple. There is a list of orders, the date of, the first column tells you the date of when the order was made. It tells you the region in which the order was made. It tells you who was the sales representative who got the order, what item did they sell, how many units of that item did they sell, what is the cost of 1 unit, and finally the total money that they brought in, the total sale that happened, value. So it is a fairly long data set, not as long as you would encounter in your work setting, but that's okay. It is fairly long for us to practice. And I have some questions over here. First question is, what is the total number of sales orders? How many orders did we have in this data set? What are we going to use here? I want you guys to guess in the next 5 seconds. Did you make a guess? If not, that's okay. Let's try and use count. What are we doing? We are just counting the total number of sales orders. Now the next question is, what is the range that we're going to select? We can select any of these columns because all of them represent a single order. All rows represent a single order, And this is how we get the total number of sales orders. So I selected from A2 to A44. And now if I close the bracket and hit enter, it tells me 43 orders were made. Now I can quickly go and check whether it's actually true or not. You see this row number? My data starts from row number 2 and it ends at row number 44. That means what is the total number? Is 2 to 44 is 43. So it means, yes, this is the right number of sales orders. Next question is, what is the total value of sales orders? Now, I'll again give you 5 seconds. Think about it. How can we get the total value of sales orders? Oh, we have some answers. Somebody's saying sum function. Yes, you are right, Bhanu Teja. Amazing. So again, I'll write the function sum. And what values do I want to sum? Should I sum units or unit cost? Can anybody tell me what values should I sum? Okay. In case you are just typing it now, let me tell you, we are going to sum column number G. Because why? It tells you the total value of the sale that happened. And if I select all of those, oh, wait. We are here about productivity hacks, right? I don't want to select it manually with my mouse. I'm lazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the first cell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control, Shift, and down. In case you are a Mac user, it's Command, Shift, and arrow key down. What it does is it selects all the cells which are filled with data in your range. So again, Command, Shift, down. or Control Shift down. It has selected all of these cells. And now if I close the bracket, I know that what is the total value of sales orders is $19,627.88. What is the maximum sales order value? Equal to, it's a very simple question, max. And I'm going to select G2. And I don't worry about where my data ends because I know it's consistent. I'm just going to do Control Shift and down, and I'm going to close the bracket. And we know what is the maximum sales order value. It's 1,879. What was the minimum sales value order? Again, we can run the function of min on the same range. It tells me that it was just $9. What was this $9 thing? Oh, it was a pencil. Oh, makes sense. What is the average order value? This is an interesting question. You need to know what is the average value that each of your orders is bringing in. So what we're going to do is we're going to average. What are we going to average? Are we going to average all the cells which are on top? No. We are going to average the sales orders. The sales order value, I think. Yeah. Now it's telling me the average sale that happened in this month from this team was 456. Yes. Thank you, Vaishali, for telling me that it's going to be average G2 to G44. Thank you so much. Now, the next question is interesting. How many average units were sold? Vaishali or anybody else in the chat, tell me. How many average units were sold? How will you calculate this? Somebody has a question. Sir, in the first question, why did I not take column E? That's a good question. I could have taken any column, by the way. I chose order date because I felt like it. Somebody has an answer to my previous question. That is how many average units are sold. So Vaishali has told me that it is going to be average of column E. And yes, that is right. Awesome. So let me average column E. Yep. And yes, I'm done. Amazing. So I know that on an average, we sell 50 units of different products. But what about how many products do we have? Have you asked? Have you questioned this? I have questioned this, and I want to know how many products do we have? What function are we going to use? I just want all unique products. Tell me, what function are we going to use? I think you guys know the answer to this. Before I start typing out my answer, yes, Abhishek was the first one, and Abhinav gave me the exact formula. Thank you so much. So unique, and Vaishali also is right. Unique item column. So I'll go unique, and wait, I did something wrong. I did something wrong, by the way. I did not do it in uppercase, and I did not hit tab. That means my formula will give me an error. Always remember this. Formulas are always in uppercase. So I'll select unique, and I will select this item column, that is D2 to D44. We have a list. We have 5 products. The company just sells 5 products, and it's a stationery company, by the way. Not just a stationery, I think office supplies. That should be the better one. We sell desks, pencils, binders, pen, and pen set. Next question is, what is the total number of products sold for each category? Can you tell me how will you find the total number of products which were sold for each category? That means how many desks were sold or how many pencils were sold. Now, this is a slightly tricky question, and I want to see you guys take a dig at it. Total number of products? Actually, I don't think that's the correct answer. I just want that will give me the total products that were sold. So let's see how we're gonna do this. Anybody in the chat? We will sum. Somebody said count if. Yes, but it's not. You're right about if, but you're not right about count. I'll tell you why. So when you say count if, it'll just tell you how many total orders there for that product. But if you sum the total number of units for each order for that product, then you'll get your answer. I'll give you guys a demonstration right now. Oh, by the way, if I'm looking here, my chat is over here. So don't get confused about this. So let's use your function, guys. Count if. Count if. And what is my range? I want to count total unique products sold. I'm going to select this range. And now I want a criteria. My criteria should be desk. I'm just going to select desk, by the way. So there were only 3 orders for desks. Now I'm not getting, by using count if, I'm not getting how many desks were sold. All I'm getting is that there were only 3 sales where desks were sold. And if I drag this function down, by the way, dragging this function down will not work if I do not lock my range. I just locked my range. You see the dollar signs, that means yes, it's locked. Now I'm going to just drag it down and see how many unique orders were there which sold these products. But what my question was, what is the total number of products sold for each category? Let's get to that. I think you guys have already told me the answer. Abhishek and Vaishali, that yes, it's going to be SumIf. Let's try to do SumIf. What is my range? My range is going to be item and units. That is cell D, column D and column E. And before I just select this range, I'll just lock it because it makes sense locking it. Just give me 1 second. I think this should be 10. Yeah. Equal to SumIf. And I'm going to select all this range and I'll lock it. It wants a criteria. The criteria is this. I want desks. And what range to sum? And I'll give this range. Hey, sum this. So if I lock it, if I close it, it's now given me that 17 desks were sold in total. In 3 orders, we sold 17 desks. If I drag this down, we'll get the sales for each of the different products. We sold 716 pencils. Oh my God. We sold 278 pens and 395 pen sets. So do you know what we just did? We had this tremendous data and we just turned this data into insights, which would have taken so much time while doing it manually, and we might have not been right. This gives so much power in your hands right now. Let's try to solve 2 more questions. And this time, I'll not wait for answers because now you already know the answers. I'm going to solve it right down on the screen. The question is, list down all unique sales representatives. The answer is pretty simple. I'll select unique. I'll select the name of the representatives, which is cell C. And yeah, that's it. I have how many sales reps? What I can do is I can count all my sales reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, but no. I'll run a count function on this now. Count A. And I'll ask count A that, buddy, you just tell me how many sales people do we have? 11. Oops, my bad. Yeah, 11. Amazing. Next question is, what is the total value? What is the total sales value for each sales rep? Now, I think to solve this, we are going to again use sum if, and we are going to select the range as this. Yeah, I think this should be the range. I'll lock it. I'll give it criteria as sales rep, which is in my column L. And then I'll also give what to total. This is the column that I want my function to total. And I'll again lock it. Done. So Smith, these are the say this is the value of sales made by each salesperson. Now, if I want to know who made most amount of sales, what function will I run? Max. Who made the most sales? Or what was the highest number of sales that was made? So I'll write equal to max and select the values, close it. Whoops, we just made $3,100 worth of sale. Amazing, isn't it? Now, let's say, and this is the last topic for the day, by the way. For each of the sales representative, there is an email or there is a code. So let's say Smith has a code, let's say code number of 17. So sales rep. Okay. And this is employee ID. Instead of code, let's use the word employee ID. Smith's employee ID is 78. This is 95. This is 1. This is 52, 62, and then there's 99. It's 65, 24, 03, which goes as 3, 5, 77, and 69. Okay. Now I have a table. Now, let's say I am the HR and I want to find out what is the employee ID of Smith. So either I can go to this table or I can learn a new function. Now, this is a very important function which you are going to use a lot of times in your lives, a lot. And trust me, when I say a lot, I actually mean it. It's called lookup. You don't necessarily have to look up. No, it doesn't work that way. But in function, in philosophy, it works that way. So the actual name of the function is Vlookup. Why the name is Vlookup, let's not answer it right now. What is important is how we're going to use it. So lookup function, what it does is it allows you to search within your tables smartly. Let's say I want to get, there is one person, Jones. I want to get this person's employee ID. How do I get it? I'll select equal to, and I'll select VLOOKUP. That is, it says vertical lookup. Let's not get hung up on that. Let's actually look at what kind of function this is, what values does it need. So it will ask for a search key. Search key is nothing but what do you want to search. So I want to search Jones, or I should rather say, I want to search whatever value is in this cell, which is L31. I want to select a range. This is my range. I'll lock it. Index. Now, in my range, there will be a column where the value that I'm looking up will appear. And index is the column where my data is stored, the data that I want to retrieve. So this is where I'll put, this is the number of column from which your range actually starts. So my range, which I'm going to search in, is this one. So this becomes my column number 1. And this becomes my column number 2. So index is 2 and is sorted. Don't worry about it. For most of your cases, it's going to be false. So type in false and hit enter. It'll give you 34. And are we right? Can we quickly check where is Jones? This is Smith, Kivell, Gill, Jardine, Andrews, Morgan, Jones. Oh, found Jones. 34. See, we are correct. What it just did, it went into the data, it searched what was the employee ID of Jones, and it gave me back the employee ID in this cell. Amazing. Somebody said M31. What is M31? Yeah. So this is how we're going to use lookup. And me being lazy HR, I don't want to, I really don't want to mess with data. All I do is I'll just replace the value here. I'll write Smith and I'll get employee ID for Smith. Let's say I want to get employee ID of Jim. I'll get NA. I'll get an error. Why? Because Jim does not even exist in our data. So of course, you need to, when you're searching, you need to have the same thing in your tables, in your database. So let's say I want to get Gil. Yep, Gil's employee ID is number 1. He was the first employee, by the way. This is how lookup works. There are different types of lookups called H lookup and X lookup. We are not going to cover all of these for now. Don't worry. We'll not cover these in this session. This was just to give you a very brief understanding of how Google Sheets can make your life better, can make your life smarter. And there are some bonus questions which we did not cover right now, but I will cover all these questions in my next YouTube live workshop. When is that going to happen? Keep subscribed to our channel to get to know when the next workshop is happening, because the next workshop we are going to cover 2 very important things. What are those things? Let me just quickly write it here. We are going to learn X lookup, or not X lookup. No. We're going to learn pivot tables. And we are going to learn visualization. I think this is what is needed to round out your knowledge of Google Sheets, Excel, whatever you want to call it. So do look out for my next live workshop where I'm going to teach pivot tables and visualization. Now, since it's 7 o'clock already, I will take few questions that you guys might have. So my chat is open right now. You guys can ask me any question that you have. All right, guys, if you have any questions, now is the time to put in the chat. Otherwise, let's call it a wrap. Okay, awesome. I do not see any questions till now. Let me tell you, if you want more of these topics, if you want to learn more about this, what you can do is just simply go to edyoda.com. This is our self-paced learning platform where you will find so many small little courses like this, which add so much tremendous value to your life. There is one advanced course for Google Sheets, which can help you with scripting, called Google Apps Script Quick Start Beginner Guide. And on edyoda.com, you can enroll for this course and you can start learning. Abhishek has a question, and that's a really interesting question. Can you explain once how to lock the range? Vaishali has given the answer using dollar signs, but Abhishek, I'll add on to that answer. Thank you so much, Vaishali, for answering this for me. How do I log the range? Is by pressing F4. F4 on your keyboard. If you press that, and if you have a function row, just press function and F4. What you will see is two dollar signs will appear. Okay, let me give an example of that. We log the range here, and you see these dollar signs, right? Dollar sign C, dollar sign 2. This actually locks my range. And you can enter it manually also. You can enter dollar signs, but what F4 does is that it just automatically does all of it for you. Just locks all the columns and all the rows for your range. So it's as simple as that. Um, Abhinav has a question. Why did I enter 2 in index and VLOOKUP formula? That's a good question, Abhinav. Really amazing question, by the way. Let's look at the formula. It says VLOOKUP L31. L31 is my search key, by the way. This is what I want to search. And then I'll select my range. That is I28 to J38. And this is what my range is. The index is in question. Why did I put index as 2? See, when I go into VLOOKUP mode, I'm localizing my table. That means I'm not worried about what the column alphabet is or what the row number is. What I'm worried about is just that table of sales rep and employee ID. This is the table that I'm concerned about. Now, if I look at columns in this table, the first column tells me sales rep. The second column tells me employee ID of that sales rep. What do I want? What was my question? My question was, I want the employee ID of that particular employee. To get that employee ID, what I need to do is I need to search the sales rep and get the answer from the employee ID, pick it up and put it in my answer. And that is what I'm doing. I select, so what I mean by localizing my data set, what I mean by localizing my index is that now this becomes column number 1 and this becomes column number 2. So I'm telling my function that, hey, buddy, in this table, starting from the leftmost column where my search index should be, you go to column number 2 and find the value which corresponds to my search index. Let's change this table slightly. Let me take this table, cut it, and put it over here. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll take employee IDs, I'll cut it and put it over here. Now formula changed. That's okay. We'll put another formula, and we'll also put in their region. Okay. This is. Thank you so much for bringing up this question. This is a very interesting question. I actually I'm having fun solving this. So Smith is, let's say, from South region. He's working in sales in South. Kivel is in East. Gill is in North. And Jones is in West. And rest, all of them are in West, except Jardine. Jardine is in, again, North. And Andrews is also working in South. Now, let's put the same formula. You remember the formula? We look up. Search key is going to be this cell. I want O35 to be the cell, which is to be my search key. And then I will select my range. I'll select the entire range now. This is my local table. That is what I want, right? And I'll lock it by pressing F4. Who asked this question? Abhishek. So I logged it by pressing F4. And then I'll select the index. Now, if I select index as 2, and don't worry about if sorted, because that is always going to be false. Most of the cases. Oh, just give me an error. What is that error? Okay. Okay. Hold on. We look up. I want the search key. I want this range, which is locked in. I want this index, which is 2. And I also the data is not sorted. That's fine. It is giving me an error because my value here is empty. So if I put in Gil, it'll give me North. Hey, something changed, something changed. It should give me employee ID, right? But it did not. Why? Because employee ID is the third column. It's not the second column. So if I go back and change my formula from from index, I change 2 to 3. Hey, it's giving me Gil as 1. So now, even if you have 3 columns, even if you have 4 columns, just select the right column where you want data from, and it will automatically extract data for you from that column. This is one of the most powerful function. Yes, Cynthia, thank you so much. The index should be 3 now. Yes, correctly. All right. Somebody, Suraj had a question. Sir, how did you calculate total sales value for each sales rep? Good question. What I did was I used this function called SUMIF, where I'm summing only when this name comes up. When Smith comes up in my table, I will only take that value and add it to my sum. This is the formula. You can see it on your screen right now. SUMIF, I've selected the total range. I've selected my criteria, which is here. It says Smith, and I've selected my total sum range. This is the range that I want to sum. And lo and behold, I have all of the sales values for each sales rep. I hope I was able to clear all of your questions. So yeah, I was talking about if you want more courses like this, you can always go to edyoda.com. This is our self-paced learning platform where you can just create an account. There is a small subscription fee of 99 rupees a month. Just hit that and you'll be able to access all of our content library for that very small amount of subscription fee. And you'll be able to access more courses like these, which are not only just for Google Sheets, but are for different technologies. So if I show you here, we already have a course on Google Apps Script Quick Start Beginner Guide, and it has multiple episodes. So if you want to learn more, you can always come to edyoda.com. Or if you want to learn more on pivot tables and visualizations, I'll be conducting one more live session just like this for you guys in the near future. To know when that is going to happen, keep subscribed to our EdYoda YouTube channel, and that is when you'll get to know. Just hit the bell icon for notifications, and you'll get a notification whenever my next YouTube live is. I really hope that you enjoyed my session. You learned something new out of this, and you'll be able to incorporate some of these things into your professional workflow, into your professional life. If some of you are early professionals, this will come in really handy for you. If you are a college student, start using this now so that you have an edge over your colleagues and you can, wow them with your Excel skills when you start working. So this was all from my end for now. And we'll see you guys soon in my next workshop. And in case you want to know when the next workshop is, just subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you hit the bell icon so that you get to know when you get a notification when our next workshop is. Thank you. And